There's a $50 million fund set aside to fight President Trump's mass deportations. Governor Gavin Newsom signing a law allocating half of the state's legal assets to defend illegal immigrants facing possible removal. Texas Congressman Roger Williams joining us now. He chairs the House Small Business Committee. Listen, I must say, Congressman, I am frustrated as a former Californian when I see what appears to be the priority shifted to those who lawfully may not be here on the right side of the ledger, in place of the money that could be used to help American citizens. Do you understand the frustration? I hear from Californians all the time when they hear things like this, and they are practically incandescent.
Well, it's unbelievable. I mean, they're doing exactly what we don't do in Texas. But the fact of the matter is, what's funny about it, Kevin, is you got the governor of California can't wait for the president to come down the steps of Air Force One to shake his hand. He's got a $50 million fee now to keep California from Trump, and that they're asking for money. It's nuts. And but the bottom line is, we've got to defend our borders. The president's done a good job of that. We've done a great job of that in Texas, spending Texas's money. You got to defend the borders against the bad guys. And if you're here illegally, you're here illegally, and you need to pay the price.
You know what? I'm glad you mentioned that, because border crossing. So I think, frankly, Congressman, we've all seen the numbers. And those of us who cover this sort of issue for a living are not surprised. You're certainly not surprised by the decrease. But I must say, even those of us who do this all the time, you have to be struck by the immediate, dramatic reversal in not just the daily border crossings, but those who've even been encountered since this president got in office. And it's likely to get stronger. You heard C.B. Cotton mention we're looking at even more troops headed south.
Well, you are. We're finally, look, we have been invaded. Nobody wants to talk about that, but our country's been invaded from Mexico. And of course, our border patrol were overwhelmed. We didn't have any help. And now we got help. We're going to build a wall. We got troops coming down there. Canada's got 10,000. Mexico's got 10,000. You just made mention we're sending more down there. We've got an invasion going on. The drug cartels are running everything down there. We've got to take care of that. And then we've got to tell people, we want you to realize the dream, but you got to realize the dream legally, not illegally. You go through the ports of entry, not between the ports of entry. And we begin to get our country back again. And let me tell you, that makes a lot of offers, good offers for people who want to come and improve their lives, but do it legally and not do it backhandedly and get yourself in trouble.
Hey there, Patriots. This is True Outlaw Patriot coming at you with another one. The video that I'm putting together tonight is on two topics that I think people need to basically pay attention to on one of them, and just to spread more awareness on the second one, which actually hits close to home on me because of a certain incident that happened. The first one is with Gavin Newsom, of course, up to his old snake tricks, like the way snakes are, you know how they do. The second one is something that I find very disheartening and aggravating, because not only do people depend on the courts to find justice, but when you have these woke judges, okay, basically going against what the people want, against what police enforcement wants, it makes you wonder, okay? It truly makes you wonder, how come these judges are not kicked out of their positions, number one, and number two, why would anybody want to spend their adult life to be a judge just to sow more chaos and destruction? At least that's just the way I see it. But don't want to make this video too long, so let's get to the opening music and we'll get right back to this video. Here we go. Okay, so hope everybody's enjoying the opening music. We'll get to that later on, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But let's get back and play this video once more from the beginning. It's not long, just so you guys, whoever's didn't catch the beginning, what exactly is going on. And it's basically Gavin Newsom, okay, just going against everything that Trump wants. And, you know, a lot of people may not understand why Gavin Newsom is the way he is. They're not really rumors, but I mean, there's supposedly like facts out there. I've come across some of them. And it kind of sounds far-fetched, but at the same time, it really doesn't. Okay, but the reason why Gavin Newsom, in my opinion, is the way he is because his family comes from a very long family in California, and supposedly the family is just basically surrounded in corruption. Not to mention that he's like related to Nancy Pelosi, and it's like this big, for lack of a better term, it's like this big mafia organization running California. Okay, and they basically don't even care what Trump, has to say, what he wants to do, how he's trying to help Americans. These people, by hook or by crook, they're going to push their agenda. And in all honesty, I know that there are a lot of good people out there in California. I really hope that you guys get enough votes to basically kick out Gavin Newsom, I mean, without a doubt, and just start weeding out on all these corrupt leftist politicians and the rhinos, and just take California back. Okay, because enough is enough, and it's people like him and people like the judge that I'm going to show you in the next video that make it so hard on Americans, and yet they still want to tout their ways and make it seem as if, what they're doing is right, and it's not. It's definitely not. But without going into it a little more, let's get back to this, and I'll put more thoughts into it. Here we go.
Set aside to fight President Trump's mass deportations. Governor Gavin Newsom signing a law allocating half of the state's legal assets to defend illegal immigrants facing possible removal. Texas Congressman Roger Williams joining us now. He chairs the House Small Business Committee. Listen, I must say, Congressman, I am frustrated as a former Californian when I see what appears to be the priority shifted to those who lawfully may not be here on the right side of the ledger, in place of the money that could be used to help American citizens. Do you understand the frustration? I hear from Californians all the time when they hear things like this, and they are practically incandescent.
Well, it's unbelievable. I mean, they're doing exactly what we don't do in Texas. But the fact of the matter is, what's funny about it, Kevin, is you got the governor of California can't wait for the president to come down the steps of Air Force One to shake his hand. He's got a $50 million fee now to keep California from Trump, and that they're asking for money. It's nuts. And but the bottom line is, we've got to defend our borders. The president's done a good job of that. We've done a great job of that in Texas, spending Texas's money. You got to defend the borders against the bad guys. And if you're here illegally, you're here illegally, and you need to pay the price.
You know what? I'm glad you mentioned that, because border crossing. So I think, frankly, Congressman, we've all seen the numbers, and those of us who cover this sort of issue for a living are not surprised. You're certainly not surprised by the decrease. But I must say, even those of us who do this all the time, you have to be struck by the immediate, dramatic reversal in not just the daily border crossings, but those who've even been encountered since this president got in office, and it's likely to get stronger. You heard C.B. Cotton mention we're looking at even more troops headed south.
Well, you are. We're finally, we have been invaded. Nobody wants to talk about that, but our country's been invaded from Mexico.
Pretty much.
And of course, our border patrol were overwhelmed. We didn't have any help, and now we got help. We're going to build the wall. We got troops coming down there. Canada's got 10,000. Mexico's got 10,000. You just made mention we're sending more down there. We've got an invasion going on. The drug cartels are running everything down there. We've got to take care of that. And then we've got to tell people, we want you to realize the dream, but you got to realize the dream legally, not illegally. You go through the ports of entry, not between the ports of entry. And we begin to get our country back again. And let me tell you, that makes a lot of offers, good offers for people that want to come and improve their lives, but do it legally and not do it backhandedly and get yourself in trouble.
And listen, it's unfair to skip the line. I know legal immigrants in this country, they waited, they paid all the fees that had to be paid to legally come here. They bought into the American dream. They did it the right way. It is unfair to skip the line and just say, hey, listen, we want to come in and just do whatever you want. If you break the law there, you may break the law while you're here. Very quickly, I want to get your reaction to this. We had a chance earlier, Congressman, to chat with Senator Marsha Blackburn about the budget. A lot of people wondering, will Republicans get a little squishy? Because, when you talk about a big, beautiful bill, sometimes you have to make deals along the way. Listen to what she has to say. I'll get your reaction on the other side.
we all realize that in order to cut the budget, you've got to be able to get a budget document and then get into those appropriations and rescind some of that bloated spending, which is what we are trying to do, whether it is through DOGE or through the appropriations. So we're working together, we're working with the House, and we look forward to having that first reconciliation bill soon.
30 seconds left. Congressman, what do you think of that?
Well, I think Marsha's a good friend of mine. I mean, she's right. We're right in the House. We're trying to come up with the best plan possible, whether it be two bills or one bill. Reconciliation is important for us right now. I think the most important thing in my mind are tax cuts. I think if people see more money in their check, they're going to feel like we have begun to deliver on our promises. So short time to get it happen, but I think in the House, our guys are working hard. Marsha and her team are working hard. We'll find something that we can sign and get on about our business and get President Trump so he can get his agenda across America.
Probably looking at.
And you know what? And he's right. And this is the way I see it. Going a little off script of what they're saying from the original story. Me personally, I don't think the Republicans should give the Democrats anything. I think the Republicans just need to basically stick together, stick to Trump's policies and plans, and just get them pushed through, and that's it. And I know a lot of people out there may disagree. Definitely everybody on the left is going to disagree. But it's like we gave the Democrats 4 years, okay, 4 years to try to do things right. And all we've gotten in return is an open, porous border, criminals coming across, committing crimes, high taxes, and I mean, it's just one mess after the other. And I just think that right now at this point, because there are still some Republicans out there that are voting against Trump, I think that, you know what, this is the time when the Republicans that really care, the people that really care, they need to just, you know, grab this bull by the horns and say, you know what, no, this is how we're going to do it, and it's going to get done. Okay, regardless of what's going on, I'm not saying go against the way things are supposed to go, but what I'm saying is don't give them anything in return. That's it. They didn't care to give the American people anything in return unless it was aligned with their agenda. So in my opinion, don't give them anything in return. And look at one bill at a time. Not 3 or 4, not a bill that has 50 different things in it. No, one policy at a time. And get it through. Okay, because what the Democrats love to do is just bunch everything up, and by the time you know it, we're back to square one. That's just my opinion. But enough with this story, because something tells me that, you know what, Trump's going to have to put his foot down a little more with Gavin Newsom. And the people in California, please, if you guys can vote his ass out quick, because he's going to keep pulling these stunts. And you know, it's funny that they didn't have enough money, and I'm just repeating what a subscriber left as far as a comment, that when it came to the wildfires, California's budget didn't have enough money to have enough fire trucks out on the road because so many of them needed to be repaired, but supposedly it wasn't in their budget. But it's funny how Gavin Newsom could allocate $50 million to the side to help illegals get past Trump's policies. It's just insane. It truly is insane. But with that being said, before I get to the next video, don't forget to comment, like, share, subscribe, pass the channel around. And if you can help support the channel, there's a link in my description to my Cash App and my merch store. And I want to thank all my new subscribers and all my subscribers here on YouTube and on Rumble. So with that being said, let's get to the next video. Here we go. Okay, just a quick disclaimer, folks. This news report has to deal, like I said, with a judge and a car accident. Okay. Specifically a hit and run. So if you're queasy about stuff like that, just turn away now. But when I seen this story, it really hit me hard because of something that happened to me, and I'll explain as we go. But let's get into this so you guys can see what I'm talking about. Here we go.
Two dangerous suspects, an accused rapist and an accused killer, are on the run tonight, each wanted on felony arrest warrants after failing to show up in court. One King County judge, Johanna Bender, is responsible for setting them free. Now, in a Fox 13 News Spotlight exclusive, the family of one of the victims and the Renton police chief are demanding answers. Dashcam video from September 7th at about 10:03 p.m. shows the seconds leading up to the hit-and-run homicide of 60-year-old Tim Gerchmez. 19-year-old Urias Morales Perez was on the way home from a birthday party in his 2002 Honda Civic. He stopped at the intersection of Airport Way and Rainier Avenue South, waiting for the red light to turn. Tim starts walking through the crosswalk. The light changes, but Morales Perez waits several seconds before he suddenly accelerates, making a left turn, hitting Tim, knocking him up onto the windshield, smashing it. He was hit 2 days before his mom was scheduled to visit.
He didn't even tap on his brake after he hit my son with his car. He just kept going and went home.
He was located a short time later by our officers, obviously intoxicated.
Renton Fire tried to save Tim's life, but he died at Harborview Medical Center. Prosecutors charged Morales Perez with vehicular homicide and hit-and-run felony. It was his second hit-and-run. Bail was initially set at $100,000, but then...
Okay, I'm going to stop it real quick because there's a couple of other things to this video. Okay. Now, when I seen this video, it really pissed me off. And if anybody has seen my earlier content that I explained about my best friend that passed away, I don't know if I mentioned it in just one video or if I didn't mention it at all. Okay, now, as you're going to see, this judge lets this kid go. And it's not even that she let him go. It's what she said afterwards. Okay? That just basically keeps pouring more salt on the wound. And what bothered me about this was that 10 days before my best friend passed away, okay, her mom was killed in a car accident. It was her mom and her fiance and some 18-year-old illegal migrant kid. Okay, this was in Little Rock, Arkansas. They clocked it at 100 miles an hour, hit her car so hard on the driver's side that it literally knocked the engine out the car. Okay? Hit her. She suffered in the car till she passed away. Her fiance was rushed to the hospital. He went under 13 surgeries and he lost sight in one eye. Not only did he hit her car, and he had a passenger with him, which was his girlfriend. She was 18 years old also. He was driving a minivan. He hit her car so hard that he flipped the minivan, hitting two other cars, injuring the people in those two cars. Okay? His vehicle landed on the side. Him and his girlfriend were taken to the hospital. They barely suffered a scratch. But now here's the thing. After they got him out the hospital, after they checked him out in the hospital, I should say, when the cops came, okay, they, from what I'm told, took him down to the precinct, questioned him, let him go, and he disappeared. Basically, didn't see a judge, wasn't held on bond, knowing that he was doing 100 miles an hour in a 35 mile an hour zone. They let him go, knowing that my friend's mom passed away, and he skipped town. He's gone. He's done. So when I seen this about what this judge did, it infuriates me, because it's like, why do we keep hearing that all these illegal migrants that commit these heinous crimes are let go? I want anybody, I dare anybody to tell me, as an American, how many times do you hear of Americans being let go after something like this happened? Not only driving and while drunk, but killing somebody while you're at it. And to make matters worse, as they're probably going to show right here, this wasn't an accident, at least not in my eyes. And if you watch the video, which I'm going to play, so bear with me, it looks like he actually turned the vehicle to hit this man. Okay? And with all these things against this kid, the judge couldn't find no reason to hold him. No reason whatsoever to hold him. And you're gonna see how she puts more salt on this wound. Here we go.
Then, at his arraignment 2 weeks later, Judge Johanna Bender agreed to lower it to $10,000, with only $1,000 cash needed to post bond. She made that decision before realizing that Tim's sister and mother had joined the court hearing via Zoom.
Were there any other conditions that the state wanted to address?
Yes, for the victim's family was on Zoom, and they also wanted to speak.
Oh, of course. I apologize.
Beth McIntyre argued against releasing Morales-Perez.
I feel, and I think my family feels, that he remains a danger to the community and should stay in jail so he doesn't kill anybody else until his sentencing.
I didn't even want him to have an ankle monitor. He killed somebody. He should have been in jail until his sentencing.
Judge Bender stood by her decision.
The law requires that I presume that anybody accused of a crime is innocent.
Okay, this is where the tit for tat comes in. And this is what makes me so damn sick of judges like this. Okay? That they're supposed to make a decision that's supposed to be based on what's best for the community. People will come out and say, well, she's abiding by the law. This is not this guy's first time in a hit and run situation. It's not. And I'm really angry right now, so I have to be careful what I say. Listen to what else she says.
Unless and until they are convicted or plead guilty. And related to that, the law requires that I presume that people should be released from jail before trial.
So I don't think it mattered what we said or if we were even on the call.
Phyllis and Beth say releasing a homicide suspect on low bail sends a message that human life doesn't matter.
This is...
Okay, now I don't know if anybody watched the way the car was turning, but it seemed to me, like I said, when I seen the full video, he could have easily slowed down. No. When the poor guy, God rest his soul, when he was crossing, the kid could have either made a wide left turn or a sharp left turn. No. He basically drove the car, made a quick left hook that went right to the guy and hit him.
Craziness.
Yeah, and is your fear not only that you don't have any sense of even some closure, but also that he might hurt other people?
Well, that was the biggest thing, is I was like, why would you let a young 19-year-old go that killed a 60-year-old man and then not expect him to do it again?
The next month, Morales-Perez was back in court, where prosecutors asked Judge Bender to remand him to jail because the county had a backlog on setting up his electronic home alcohol monitor. She ruled it's not his fault and denied the request to hold him.
You believe that? Because the cops couldn't get this kid an alcohol monitor just to monitor him. Her excuse is she has to let him go because it's not his fault if they can't give him that piece of equipment. I'm telling you, these people should not be judges. This is why I don't believe in this whole thing about that judges can't be touched, that they can't go to prison, that they're untouchable. I don't believe in that. I 100% do not believe in it. I think judges should be held accountable, just like lawyers. They should be sent to prison. Whatever laws are out there that protect judges and lawyers, they need to be stripped away. Everybody should be on the same playing field and should be held accountable for their actions, for the way they conduct themselves, for the way they put other people in danger. Because how do we as a society keep this going? This will keep happening. It doesn't matter who's in the White House. You're still going to have your rogue judges, district attorneys, lawyers. You're going to have your rogue ones that are going to do this to society and go to bed at night and not even care. Okay? Now, I'm gonna back up just a little bit so you can hear what else this woman has to say. And I think it's totally disgusting.
To hold him.
So I'm going to allow your client to remain in the community, and in a significant exercise of trust on my part, I am going to believe that he is going to continue to engage in the good law-abiding behavior that he has been engaging in.
You believe that? She's going to allow him to stay in the community to keep engaging in the good law-abiding. I can't believe she said that. I cannot believe she said that.
Then on November 8th, Morales Perez failed to show up for a plea hearing, so a $200,000 warrant was issued for his arrest. Out of concern for the safety of his community, Renton Police Chief John Schultz emailed this letter to Judge Bender challenging the comments she made in court, writing, "Good law-abiding behavior. Let's not forget he killed a member of our community while operating a motor vehicle impaired," and asking for clarification on her decision. So I can explain to my community, can you please help me understand the logic of allowing Mr. Perez to be free pending trial? I feel as though his behavior has been minimized at the expense of public safety.
Was there something on our end that she was looking at that maybe held a problem for him being held in custody?
And what response did you get?
I got no response back.
This wasn't the first time Renton police have arrested a dangerous suspect, only to see Judge Bender set them free.
Oh, hell no. Oh, my God, bro, you got his blind.
Jamari Wilson was finally caught by the Violent Crime Unit after a year on the run. He cut off his GPS tracker after Judge Bender released him from jail on electronic home monitoring. He's back in jail now on $350,000 bail, charged with new gun crimes. And then there's Jose Lopez. Renton police arrested him for rape second degree. Judge Bender gave him electronic home monitoring. He disabled it and hasn't been seen since.
Yeah, I think it really thwarts the trust in the justice system when our community sees it's almost like a revolving door of we're arresting these violent criminals and then they're allowed and released back out on the street.
While judicial rules prohibit judges from doing interviews about their decisions, Judge Bender did address criticism she's received. Her comments came at a hearing last October to increase Kashawn Jemerson's bail. He's accused of killing a handyman. Judge Bender told the suspect's mother she empathized with her.
This hearing isn't about me, but I will share with you that I often get death threats based on the decisions that I make, which is equally frustrating to me because I'm trying to do my job and it should not be the responsibility of any member of the public to threaten my life because I am trying to uphold the law. So I am very empathetic to the situation that the family finds themselves in.
Why is she on the suspect's side rather than the victim?
Tim's family doubts they'll ever get justice for his hit-and-run death. Renton police say they believe Morales Perez has fled to Mexico. Phyllis says when Judge Bender released him for 10 days with no ankle bracelet, it gave him time to plan his escape.
I think she should be removed from the bench. I'm sure she's done a lot more harm than good.
That's a challenge in Washington state. Judge Bender was appointed by Governor Inslee in 2015 and later elected to the bench. Superior Court judges are not subject to voter recall like other elected officials. Families like Tim's can file a complaint with the Judicial Conduct Commission. They can recommend that a judge be suspended, but the state Supreme Court makes the final ruling. In his letter to Judge Bender, Chief Schultz writes, "I understand that it's your discretion to set bail for those suspects that are seen in your court. I also know that several considerations should be made in that determination, such as severity of the charges, risk to the public, and prior criminal history."
They should look at the safety to the community when making these decisions. I think what we're seeing is a lot of empathy shown towards the suspects, and without that same lens looking at how it affects either the victims of the crime, the families of the victims, or the community at large.
Okay, I'm gonna leave it at that, people. Now, I just want to go back just a little bit. I'm not trying to upset anybody. I'm going to play it from here. Just watch the car and look what I was saying about how he was going and then he hooked and he hit this guy. Just, I'll even mute it. I just want everybody to pay attention to the vehicle. If anybody's seen the way he swerved, he went right into that man. Okay? Now, I don't know what the hell is the problem with this judge that she keeps letting these violent people out into the street. It's like, what is it that's going on in your mind that you have to look at these people who are committing these crimes and then you're going to come out and say, okay, that first kid on his second hit and run, that you're letting him go so that he can be a productive citizen the way he always has been. He's on his second hit and run, which cost the life of an innocent man. And now he's gone. Okay, or whatever the case is, the other guy is gone for rape. Gone. The other guy that, was let loose after killing someone. I just don't understand how these judges get away with this. I don't understand the laws, especially in these blue run states and even the red states, because you're going to have your rogue, like I said, judges, district attorneys, whatever the case is. It's no secret, and your lawyers. I can never understand these staunch, bleeding heart liberal judges and lawyers that look at these criminals and think if we show them a little more love, they're going to change. Some people are just criminally minded. No matter what you do for them, they don't care about that. Okay? What they care about is doing whatever they want and how they want to do it in order to get their rocks off. That's what they get off on. They get off on hurting people. It's demonic. It's mental. Call it whatever the hell you want. But it definitely is not right, and it's definitely not the way a stand-up citizen in society acts. But leave it up to people like Gavin Newsom to go against Trump and save money for the illegal migrants. Leave it up to judges like this to let people go after they go and kill somebody. And then people wonder why Trump is so harsh on what he wants to do, and the people that he's surrounding himself with are being so harsh on certain things, and why so many people in society are fed up. People wonder why the Democrats have been losing, they lost, and they're still losing ground. It's because of stuff like this. And like I said, watching this story really, really hit me hard because it reminded me of what happened to my best friend's mom. And like I said, it was in Little Rock, Arkansas. And I know some people say, well, that's a red state, Arkansas. Yes, it is. But Little Rock is run like a deep blue, bleeding heart liberal freaking city. I can tell you stories for days when I was out there of how the justice system works in Little Rock. It is pathetic when I tell you, man. Totally pathetic. But look who's in charge. It's insane. It truly is insane. But anyway, that's what I got for you. Don't forget to comment, like, share, subscribe, pass the channel around. And if you can help support the channel, there's a link in my description to my Cash App and my merch store. So remember, people, stay vigilant. Keep praying for each other. Keep praying for the women and the children. Pray for this country. Pray for your enemies. Pray for Donald Trump. And don't forget to pray for all the missing children that they brought across the border. Peace.